Hey everybody, coming up on Sports Central, we have three very special guests. We'll be talking golf, baseball, and professional fishing. Stick around, everybody, for this edition of Sports Central. Hey everybody, welcome to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson. To my right, to your left on your television viewing screen, Mr. Al Snow, replacing Hank Longo because of the topics of this week. Al, you're sort of a celebrity in your own right in the sport of golf, and of course an avid fisherman. So we're going to have an opportunity to deal with all of that. But before we do that, we got to make a big shout out to one of our favorite sponsors, and of course that's the Ledger Media Group. Picked up my paper this morning and was going through it, reading all the great local news as well as national news. But their sports section, is when it comes to covering this area of the state and the state itself, they're second to none.
Absolutely. I mean, everything, like you said, every day when you open up the cover of that paper and you go right down through the national news, local news, and then particularly high school sports and the local professional sports like the Magic and things like that, just top notch. It's good to hear the stories from the people that are actually in your community, not just on on the internet.
Unfortunately, my chocolate lab got a hold of my paper. Actually, I had already read it and just tore it to shreds. So that, that was right after eating a yellow highlight marker. He's been a naughty dog. He's only 9 months old. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, Al, our first guest, we have been around fishing. We both enjoy fishing. And he's a great ambassador for Polk County, and he's one of the best guides in the entire Central Florida area. And of course, we are the bass capital of the world, the largemouth bass capital of the world.
Yeah, and whether it's out at the Winter Haven chain or Kissimmee, he guides out of Camp Mack, which is a lot of great news about Camp Mack coming up. It's just one of the things that you need to do when you come to Central Florida is get out on the water and catch a trophy bass, and it's what you can do.
Well, there have been a lot of changes too, out at Camp Mack with Guy Harvey coming in and so on. And our very first guest, I can't say Mr., I have to say Captain Scott Taylor, is the senior guide out there, and just a wonderful person to talk to, and we are going to learn a lot. And when it comes to fishing, there's not much better than Camp Mack, right, Scott?
Things are going great. The marketing, the improvements that the Outpost has brought out to Camp Mack. The camp store, the new weigh-in stage, concert stage, all-around facilities out at Camp Mack are improving. And it's still rustic. It's still old world Florida. You're going to get out there. You go camping, we get out on the water, we leave the boat ramp, and, I turn left or right, like I head up into Lake Hatchinaw. There are so many mornings as the sun's coming up on that tree line, and I come around that first point. I, honest to God, expect to see Chief Osceola sitting on a stump. You've got the alligators, the eagles. It is just pristine old world Florida at its best. We set the boat down, and we start catching fish. That's how I like to start my days.
Right. Well, and Camp Mack, I mean, not only for visitors, I mean, it's an old world fish camp. I mean, it's you're going kind of back in time when you get there, but for locals as well. I mean, there are so many events that go on at Camp Mack between concerts and I know they've had dart tournaments, they've had cornhole tournaments out there. I mean, there's always something going on at Camp Mack, and with the Guy Harvey addition with that partnership, I know there's a lot of conservation that Guy Harvey's group does that, obviously, with a lot of things that are going on with red tide and that on the coast, that
Right.
I guess that type of stuff will start at home. So hopefully with their name attached and the ability to, have events out there and a lot of things going on out there, it's, it's going to be a great relationship, not only for our visitors, but for the locals as well.
Yeah.
Right, and it's just beginning. That's the beautiful part of it, is, we're just scratching the surface of, all the potential that this partnership with the Guy Harvey Outpost can bring. So.
Well, I think one of the things, with your guide service, obviously, as reputable as they can come, and as we, and I even hate thinking about this, let alone saying it, but as you look towards, Christmas time, for somebody that is the spouse of a Fisher person, what an opportunity. They can buy a gift certificate from you guys.
Correct.
And, hey, if you want to go out here, put it under the tree, and they can go when they want to go, and they just call you. But is there a website that they can go to go fishing with you personally?
Yes, sir. It is tmcguideservice.com. It's Tango Mike Charlie guideservice.com.
Okay.
And we do have an online reservation system. It is completely secure. It is the same reservation system that Guy Harvey Outposts use in all their resorts around the world.
Boy, that's easy.
So you can book trips specifically for Winter Haven, specifically out at Camp Mac, at that outpost. And then there's also, as you said, the gift certificate option. You can buy in whatever amounts, and that is valid for up to a year for people to use, whenever they want to go ahead and make a final booking.
Yeah, and I know that upcoming that there is an Angler Academy out at Guy Harvey Outpost. Tell us a little bit about that.
That is going to be in November 10th and 11th. It's a 2-day event. People can sign up for Saturday or Sunday or both. It's aimed at kids. We're going to have Bass Elite Pro Bobby Lane out there. We're going to have people from the IGFA team out there. Myself, my humble little self, will be out there as well. And it's teaching kids about fishing and conservation. Everything from knot tying to casting to fish care. When you hook a fish, how to properly unhook that fish in live release. All sorts of information that kids can learn. And it's not just for kids that are beginners. It's for everybody. And there's going to be all sorts of entertainment, both days. People that are camping out there, there's going to be movie afterwards. But it's really aimed at getting kids an opportunity to see some professional anglers, and get them to learn, and help teach them and help grow the sport, and very conservation minded at that.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
That's
I'm going to say it
great
one
stuff.
more time. It's tmcguideservice.com.
The company is Services. The website is Service.
Service.
Singular.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
There you go. I was just corrected. It's a frequent occurrence this week, unfortunately.
No.
Oh, Scott, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Seriously, I'm going to have to get out. You and I are going to have to get out because I have never fished on Lake Hatchinaw before.
It's been too long. Every fishery around here is great, but Hatchinaw, Kissimmee, the Winter Haven chain, they're off the charts.
It's no place like it. Of course, that's why we're the bass capital of the world.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Scott, again, thanks so much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate
You
it.
bet. Well, everybody, we have been very fortunate, I should say, to be not only in the bass capital of the world when it comes to water sports, and nobody comes close to Polk County, but also the water ski capital of the world. The official U.S. Olympic Committee governing body of the sport, USA Water Ski and Wake Sports, is located in Polk City, and they will be moving to Lake Myrtle within the next year or two. So we're real excited about that. But the history of water skiing really started in Polk County with Cypress Gardens, and some of the most famous athletes of them all, the Aquamaids. And we have a special 4-minute feature for it. Stick around, everybody. Enjoy this. We'll be back right after this.
Shelly here, continuing my adventures with Crystal and the Florida Aquamaids. Today, I'm going to learn to water ski right here in Central Florida at Winter Haven Water Sports. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I'm willing to give it a try.
You got this. You're going to do a great job, and it's so much fun. You're going to love it.
Whether you're a local or vacationing and working on an extra day stay, Winter Haven Water Sports is your one-stop destination. They have activities to suit the whole family for an action-packed day in the sun. Besides water ski lessons, you can learn to slalom, flyboard, wakeboard, or enjoy a tube ride, renting paddle boards or a pontoon boat. When you book a lesson with Winter Haven Water Sports, they will provide the boat, equipment, and safety gear. You're going to get world-class instructors and certified drivers. Our instructor today is Lauren, and she is a former U.S. Barefoot National Champion. But we're going to keep it simple today. I'm going to learn how to water ski, and Crystal is going to learn to slalom on one ski. Okay, Lauren, what do we need to know?
All right, so see this bar out here? We're gonna start you on there because you're a first timer. You're gonna hold straight onto the bar, put your skis underneath you, and just slowly stand up and keep your arms straight.
Okay.
And then with Crystal, we're gonna take this rope, she's a little experienced. We're gonna take this, attach it to the boom, and then you're just gonna hold on, ski like you normally know how to ski, and then slowly pick up a foot, transfer your weight, step on the deck, and slalom away. Okay, so it should be a good day, ladies. All right. So how was it? I loved it. It was great to be on the water.
Well, I had a great time too, and Lauren was great about giving instructions. As I was coming out of the water, I felt confident, I wasn't scared, and holding on to that pole was great because I could just focus on getting my legs and doing exactly what she told me, so it was awesome.
Right, yep.
For more information or to book your day of play online, go to winterhavenwatersports.com. See you later.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Sports Central. Mark Jackson along with Al Snow. And, Al, holiday in Winter Haven. We were talking with Scott a little bit earlier. And, if we're going to do this this fishing thing, I'd kind of like to go out to the hatch in the haul, but I know you want to get on the chain. So if, we're going to do that, we need to set it up like soon.
I know. It's we keep pushing it off. It's one of those things that it's always nice around here. It's like golf. It's like, I can go play next weekend. I can play next weekend. I'm going to do something else this weekend. And before you know it, 3 months have gone by and you haven't picked up the club. So we've got to get on the water and do that, and then maybe go play a round or two as well.
Yeah, there you go. Well, if you want to do that, one of the best things about being in and around Winter Haven, Holiday Inn in Winter Haven, and it's of course a hop, skip, and a jump away from Outback. They're renovating that. They're changing it back kind of the way it used to be, but what a great accommodation. We put a lot of our celebrities, a lot of sports people in there, and just always take great care of people. So if you ever have anybody that needs to be taken care of.
I mean, it's a perfect spot in Winter Haven. I mean, close to downtown. You've got Legoland that's close by.
Yeah.
You've got Harborside and obviously the chain right there. So if you want to do a little bit of it all,
Absolutely.
that's the place to stay.
Well, we were talking earlier. It makes me want to get out on the water with Scott fishing, and of course the Aquamaids is, they're always a trip. They do a great job. But golf, we're the water ski capital of the world. We are the bass fishing capital of the world, and we are close to being the golf capital, sort of.
Well, you know, I mean, number of courses, it's great. We've got, you know, more than 40 public access courses here, but the 3 courses we're going to talk about now I think, have put us on the map more so than anything else. And they are the bucket list courses for a lot of golfers right now, and there's a good reason why.
You know, there's no question about it. Well, you know, Al's really the resident expert with sports marketing, and one of the reasons why, worked for the PGA Tour, worked for the LPGA Symetra Tour, director of marketing at Golf Week magazine, and also competed on the Long Drive Tour. So anyway, you're going to introduce our next guest. You do such a good job of it.
Absolutely. Well, we've got Scott Wilson, director of golf from Streamsong Resort here, and Scott, things are rolling pretty well at Streamsong, huh? We're still pushing through the rounds of golf on those 3 fantastic courses.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're trying to do our part to get to that golf capital of the world. It's a long haul because there's some fantastic golf courses in the nation. But yeah, we've had Saturday will be our first anniversary for Streamsong Black, so we're excited. That's coming up. And then you know, in December it'll be 6 years for Streamsong Red and Blue. And we've had a great run. We are just seeing good things coming down the pike.
And you hear it no matter what where we go, whether it's golf shows. It's actually even, you know, some of the events I'm doing now with conventions and meetings. I mean, people are they're talking about Streamsong. It's whether there's a CEO that wants to have a meeting at Streamsong because he's, you know, the courses are on his bucket list, or just, you know, travelers up in Detroit, or, you know, the cold weather places that we get to go. You know, 2 courses right now ranked in the top 25 of best places to play. Best new course as far as the Black course goes. What, you know, it's probably a very tough question. What's your favorite hole on each course?
You know, I thought you were going to say, what's your favorite golf course? And that's the
next.
tougher one. And I think I'll answer that ahead of time. But I think what it is that on any given day, each one deserves that possibility of being a favorite of yours or the guest that's playing. And we have plenty of groups of 12 or 16 that sit down for a beer afterwards. And they'll say, well, this is my favorite, this is my favorite. And it goes back and forth. And it's really neat to have that because there's that consistency of the 3 courses. It's not like one is great and then 2 are kind of mediocre. They're all 3 great. So as far as my favorite holes, Red 14 is a par 3. Looks like it's right out of the Sandhills in Nebraska. It's just a great par 3. Black, I would say number 9, the Punch Bowl, because we don't see that anymore. It's either a course that was built in the golden architecture days way back in you know, the 20s and 30s, or overseas. So that was neat that Gil Hands designed that. And then on blue, most people say number 7 because of the bridge, but I think for me it would be number 1. It's just a neat look, a highest point probably in Polk County. It's up on a dune, hits down, and then a little wedge or 9-iron into the green. And it just gets your day going well, and it's still a tough hole, but it's only about 340 yards, and just a neat look to it.
That's one of my favorites too.
I mean, to stand up on that tee, it's you know, to start your round particularly, you're standing up on that tee, and all you see, you know, Streamsong stretched out in front of you, all the courses, and just it's a landscape that you don't see in Florida. I mean, Florida courses are flat. I mean, for the most part, very rarely do you get the elevation change, and just the look of Streamsong with the dunes and the grasses, and it's a phenomenal look from that tee.
The first time we put the flags out there, the maintenance crew put them out, and they counted 29 flags in 36 holes. And you just don't see that in Florida because there's either trees or you're on the same topography and you're not really that much of a change. So that altitude is pretty neat.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you've got an event coming up. It's the Streamsong Fall Classic 4-Ball Championships. And we need to start out, and I think I asked you this a year ago or the last time you were on. What's 4-ball?
Okay, so that's a good question. 4-ball, as the Ryder Cup is coming up, 4-ball would be where both players on a team are playing their own ball against 2 others. That would be match play. And then in this instance, it's stroke play. So everyone's playing the better ball of the two on a team.
Okay.
And the lowest score, you make a 3, you make a 4, we take the 3.
Okay.
So that's it. Foursomes would be alternate shot.
So how did the term four ball? The origin of that just perplexes the heck out of me. It shouldn't, but it does.
I always think of it as 4 balls in play and 4 scores being recorded, and
Okay.
you just take the better one of the 2 and 2 of the 4, I should say. And for sums, you're hitting the ball some of the time. You hit a shot, then you hit a shot, and back and forth until you
Okay.
hold it out. So that was the easy way to do it in my PGA apprenticeship days.
You can quiz me on it later.
I may want to go back to, it was a Scottish game, and each guy sat there and he saw 4 balls when he was trying to swing with some of the libations they had in Scotland.
Still
so.
do, yeah.
You know, really quick, I mean, I know there's been a lot of notoriety with, Streamsong, but just kind of give us an overview of some of the people you've seen, some of the places. I know when I was there last time with our Chinese golf group that we had out there.
Good group of people.
They, I was sitting with 2 guys that had literally just flown in from Seattle and just raring to play. I mean, where are some of the places you're seeing people come in for to play at Streamsong?
Regular in the winter, our normal guest is coming from the Midwest, Northeast. When they get snow, we get busy. And then we see people from Oregon, from Seattle, from California, quite a bit. We've been seeing more and more international visitors down in Argentina. They'll come up to Miami maybe, and then come up for a few days to Streamsong, and then go back to Miami. So it's only 2.5 hours. So we've seen quite a bit. We've had Australia, New Zealand, Sweden, Germany. So we're getting to see it all, and love the fact when the Scots and the Irish come over the English and they see our course and they say, this is more like Ireland or Scotland than what we have at home sometimes. We have everything except the ocean. It's fantastic. It's sand-based, it's fast, it's firm. The way the game was supposed to be played on the ground.
Right.
Somebody was telling me that, and I haven't played Streamsong Black yet. I was supposed to, and something came up, I couldn't go. But somebody was telling me that the greens on Streamsong Black are pretty large. Is that a truism?
It is, but the green surface itself and the approach and the recovery area, the chipping area, that is all mini verde, so it's all the same type of grass.
Okay.
And Gil Hans and Jim Wagner, who designed the golf courses, or course, they wanted that recovery area like you would find in Scotland, Ireland, Australia, where you can bounce the ball in, you could run the ball in, you could putt, chip with a 7-iron, or you could hit a hybrid or a 3-wood. And they wanted that to be releasing. And if you get Bermuda grass that is grabbing the ball or stopping it sometimes and then letting it slide through, they wanted that consistency. So they made it all mini verde, so the green might be here, but then the fall off, it's not going to stay there. It'll come down into the Celebration Bermuda, and you'll be able to putt and chip and go from there. So it's pretty nice, but I will go back. Was that a hint that you wanted to play Streamsong Black? Because Al will definitely bring you out.
It would help my sales skills when I'm with Al, and at a golf show or somewhere else, so we might have to take you up on that one.
We'll get out and play.
Yeah, and it's such a fun, I've played red, I've played blue, and always had a great time, but I don't know what it is. There's a couple of holes. I can't even remember if it was the red course or the blue course where you're hitting from real high. It's a par 3, and you're hitting over water, and it's down in this hole. And I don't know what it is, and that hole just eats me up every single time. This should be really simple. I don't know. I need strokes on that hole or something.
You need strokes on every hole.
No, I don't. I'll tell you who needs strokes is Hank Longo. He isn't here to defend himself.
Absolutely.
So how much do you get a chance to play?
I try to play as much as possible, but we do. We are quite busy right now with all 3 courses rolling, and the temperature, like Scott Harvey said before, it's starting to drop a little bit, but it's still warm. And then in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll start to see more walkers. The caddies are coming back from up north as their seasons wind down. So we'll have 230 independent contractors for caddies going through the winter season. So it's exciting. A lot of people, like you said, bucket list material, and we're getting a lot of notoriety for being that resort with 3 golf courses that are all really top notch.
It was one, what is the number? Streamsong Blue, number 14, and Streamsong Red, number 10. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Well, for pure bragging rights, I'm waiting for the black to end up in that top 25 to be the only resort in the United States to have 3 courses in the top 25 of places.
That'd be awesome.
That would be neat.
That's going to be great bragging rights to have. Makes my sales job a lot easier.
Yeah,
right?
that's for sure. But it's, it's interesting because people see, you got a Streamsong shirt on it. That's with the S, like that.
There you go.
And,
Stands out.
oh, that's Streamsong. You played there? Oh, yeah. So there are some bragging rights. Well, Scott, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to have you on. And, Streamsong Black.
Gonna get there.
Fishing trip. We got Streamsong Black.
Glad you got some vacation time.
I'm going to have to use it, yeah.
And you can fish at Streamsong also. We've got the bass fishing, archery, sporting clay, spa. You get it all.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's so much stuff I'd like to say, but I just can't. Again, thanks so much for joining us, and we're really happy that Streamsong is full, and you guys are packed, and that's what makes it so delightful, because there are a lot of great people out there that enjoy it as well.
Yeah, it's a great thing to see.
Thank you.
Great thing to see.
I got to say hi to one of your favorite employees, and that's Mr. Fred Butler, too. Give a shout out to old Fred. He's
Starter
back
Fred.
from California. Yeah, he's a character. Well, football. It is football season, and we have some great football here in Polk County, both at the prep level as well as at the college level. Well, our very own Neil Duncan just happened to be out at Southeastern a week or so ago. Got some great footage, some great interviews. Check this out. Alan Mark. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, thanks, guys. Neil Duncan here for Sports Central at Victory Field on the campus of Southeastern University. We're getting ready for a top 20 matchup. Before we do, we're going to talk to the athletic director here at Southeastern, Mr. Drew Watson. And Drew, what a great atmosphere here. Game day.
Yeah, it's game day, and as you said, 2 ranked teams. This is the first time in school history that we've had 2 ranked teams on this field. So we're excited. It's hot out here, so hopefully the fans come out. We have a great day.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, it's a great atmosphere. It is warm. You guys are used to night games, but a day game, so it's changing it up a little bit.
Yeah, Neil, we've had 1 day game in our history, and it was kind of like this. The turnout wasn't great, but that was in our first year. So we're hoping, even with the Gators playing tonight, that we get some Gator fans out and to support Fire football, because it's a great environment.
I was actually going to speak to that. We have 3 football teams, college football teams here in Polk County, obviously Southeastern being one of them. And if you're a Florida State, Miami, whoever your team is, DVR, the ability to record, there's no reason you shouldn't come out to one of these games.
Absolutely. I mean, college football in Lakeland, and it's if you've not been out to a game, it is a tremendous experience, and usually it's when the sun's going down. We've got the flames coming off the scoreboard. You're going to see that in a few minutes. Dragonfly flames off the field. But we try and do a good job of making this feel like a Division I atmosphere. It's not just coming to a game and watching some football. It's watching good football, and you've got a great atmosphere.
Well, I think to that point, it's not Division I, but don't be mistaken that it's not good football.
Well, and that's a misconception about NAI football. And we even get it in players that are trying to come here. Well, it's only NAI. It's not that good football. It really is. I mean, we've had fans sitting up here. We just graduated our first class last year. And fans coming to those first few games are like, wow, that running back's D1 caliber. That kicker's D1 caliber. Quarterback's doing great. So it's not Florida State or Florida, but it's a high level of football, and I think people will be surprised when they come out here.
Let's not talk about Florida State right now because I think your offensive line is probably better than their offensive line, but I'll move on. Talk about, it's a young program still, and you look at all the amenities and the administration, the way they have supported this program, not just football, but all sports. Talk about the growth here at Southeastern.
Well, Dr. Ken Engel, the leadership team, and they do a tremendous job of visioning to what we can do to become bigger, better, how we can help students develop who they are. But really one of our philosophies is if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And so when we built this stadium, when the administration started to dream about football, well, we're not going to go off campus to play football. We're not going to play at a high school field, even though our high school field in town is pretty good. But what we decided to do is build something that is quality, that is a great recruiting piece, and that people look at and say, man, that is a quality program. That's not just the team on the field. It's the way they do every single thing, and really that carries off to the university. You know, we're putting up a building over here, the Welcome Center. They made sure they did that right. It's going to be a tremendous experience for people that walk in that door that are looking at Southeastern.
Well, this football team has a great opportunity to make a deep run in the playoffs. Kind of tripped up right out of the gate with somewhat of a surprising loss, but have won every game since. Top 20 matchup here. You and I can talk all day about how great it is, but we probably ought to let the action take care of it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Central in segment number 3. Mark Jackson here along with Al Snow. And this segment's being brought to you by Party Rentals Unlimited. They really, Al, they really do a great job. I mean, from, like kids parties type stuff, and, where you need that type of thing, or really fancy parties and functions and all this. They did the Water Ski Hall of Fame deal and reception. Outside, man, phenomenal.
Yeah, they've done some great events with us. They did the Governor's Baseball Dinner with us.
Oh, that's
and
right.
We
That's
hosted
right.
that, and upcoming the U.S. PSA Nationals are helping us out with that one as well. So everything
talk
from
about that in a
tables and
minute.
chairs to tents and bouncy houses.
Well, we're going to introduce our next very special guest because he has taken the world of baseball from being a player, being a catcher with the Houston Astros organization, to the world of finance, and now all these different organizations that are so complicated, he's going to have to tell you about it because I don't think I can remember everything. But the fact of the matter is, we all call him KD. His name is Kevin Davidson. Kevin, welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Good to see you. And I'm looking at my cheat sheet here, and so are you. And there's 12 different organizations on here that you are involved in, own. And we've seen some changes in Russ Map Baseball,
Yep.
which is the largest collegiate spring training in the world, right here in Polk County. But just the operations, the way the coaches are welcomed, if you will, and the quality of the tournament. I mean, you guys have turned things, made some big changes, I'll put it that way.
We have, and I wish I would have got one of those cheat sheets myself to talk about everything going on. But yeah, RustMat was a very good acquisition for us, and we're excited to be a part of it. It's been a long-standing event here in Polk County, and it's, from what I understand, probably I think the largest economic impact event in the county. We have about 250 teams that come in for those 6 weeks, and all these northern guys, and every time they come back, all they keep talking about is the location, the venue, the hotels, the people around it is just it's a special place. So we're appreciative for all you guys do.
Well, we see, I know we just talked a little bit before, you said there's about 150 teams or so that are coming back and have come back for multiple years. And I think from the standpoint of the destination, you get the hotels get the same teams back every year, and you get the restaurants get the same teams. There's almost a familiarity that in February and March you're going to have, the RustMat come into town, and it's phenomenal to see.
It's like a takeover.
Yeah, it is. But
Takeover Polk County.
It's a great takeover. I think everybody comes away with, just they love RustMat. It's like, okay, it's that time of year again, and it may be a little harder to get a seat at a table at a restaurant or things like that, but. The kids have all been great. The teams are great. We love to see everybody back again every year.
Yeah, the responses I've received from some of the local restaurants, and those are the people I get to talk to the most, has been very overwhelming. And I've actually even gotten a few meals out of it, just going around and shopping around, and people know that I own it. So that's kind of a good lead if I'm in Polk County. But everybody's been so responsive and so great to us, and it's the reason why it's the largest event in the country. And teams just love coming back, and we're continuing to add things to it. We're looking to continue to do things and more things with the community. Any way we can integrate some of these restaurants and the hotels and any of the local attractions, we're certainly welcome to do so.
Kevin, one of the things that I definitely want to talk about, because every time I hear about this and hear what's going on, is Baseball Cloud. Tell us a little bit about that particular enterprise, and I mean, it is a real tool in the world of baseball. I mean, it potentially can change the game forever.
Yeah, it is. Baseball Cloud's really where this whole thing started from. It's really my baby. Being on the financial side, I represented about 19 major league players. And I started seeing all these contracts being negotiated by data. And every time I would sit in these meetings with a major league club, they'd bring out all these graphs and charts, and I couldn't even understand it. I didn't know anything about data. But I started educating myself on it and started seeing the traction pick up in the college market. And I knew one of the college coaches that really was the pioneer of college data. And I went and met with him one day, and when he showed me their version of data, he pulled out about a 60-page Excel document. And he started talking, and I was already confused as it was with data as a whole, even with the pie charts. And then when I realized the central concept of what we created was they don't have software at the amateur level, where they don't have the ability to translate all these massive Excel files into usable information. So you've seen the integration of data happening in the college level, where about 4 years ago there were 7 colleges using it. Right now there's 75. So with those 75, each one of those coaches are individually going through this Excel document after every game, after every practice, trying to filter out all this information. And even when they do so, it's just still an Excel document. So Baseball Cloud is essentially a centralized software system that turns all those numbers and puts them in one location. We provide the analytical hub for all those colleges to do so. And in addition to that, we're creating individual profiles for players. So part of our ownership of a lot of these events is to also help integrate data in these events, where some of the more prestigious events around the country right now all have data as a part of the event, but that data is really not accessed by any of the players, because these events also know that they're not going to understand an Excel file. So regardless if a kid plays here, a kid plays in another event in Jupiter, if they're getting their data captured on any type of device, we've created an agnostic system to accept it, digest it, and house it on one location. And in addition, it allows those college coaches to access that information from anywhere in the country.
Like pitch speed, the dynamics of the pitch, whether split finger fastball
Correct.
at 95 versus, change up at 82, whatever it may be.
Far away, it's come from the time of the scouts just sitting behind home plate with a radar gun.
Certainly.
That was high tech.
That's exactly right. The game has changed tremendously since I got done playing. I believe it was in '08 was my last year, and the progress that the game has made is leaps and bounds over anything I've ever seen. But it's changed for the better, I think. I think data creates more of an equal playing field. I think data, for me, one of my biggest goals I want to achieve out of it, I think it has a tremendous opportunity to decrease the cost of playing for the amateur market. I mean, right now, which is one of our mission statements at DS Holdings, is we want to make the game cheaper again. I mean, we actually bought a website called MakeTheGameCheapAgain.com. And we want to create that value. We want to make sure that these kids don't have to go around the country and be seen in front of all these places. And these colleges, as we built the system, have asked us to build it for that reason. They want to be able to recruit more efficiently. And that's really what it does, is that it's the only way that you can possibly compare apples to apples to where they can't look at a kid's batting average or home runs in high school, because the talent deviation is so large in the field that they're playing on means so much. But with data, you can see how a kid's performing against a 85-mile-an-hour fastball or above, or a curveball that moves a certain amount or greater, which would be something that is what they care about against that college competition.
Man, is that something that we're going to see this coming year at the RusMat Invitational?
Yes, we launched it this year through RusMat just as part of our building of the platform. During this year's RusMat, it's going to be much more integrated. We're actually going to be doing a lot more at our October 26th through 28th Bing Tyus Classic, which is our JUCO event that Bing Tyus hosts. Which is the first year we changed it to that name. He's probably going to be upset with me that I announced that on TV. I'll deal with that later. But we're going to.
We all will.
we certainly will. But, you know, I thought anybody that has a stadium named after them, they got to have a baseball tournament named after them. So we were glad to do so. But we're going to really give the industry its first taste of what the full capabilities are. We are already integrated in 29 colleges. Those 29 colleges are getting that taste this week, and essentially last week is when we started. So really we're at a very beginning stage of what I hope is really good for the amateur game.
Now, the two events coming up, the Scorpions Florida Scout Ball is this coming weekend, but the Scorpions team, if I remember correctly, the #1 draft pick in the college draft this last year came out of the Scorpions. Is that right?
Yes, the Scorpions are a tremendous organization. We're fortunate to have them, you know, in our backyard here in Central Florida. And the greatest thing about the Scorpions is the guy that was my college head coach in college just recently purchased them.
Oh, okay.
So he now owns them. So now all of our entities work very closely with those guys. They're a top-notch organization. They're constantly coming over here now in Polk County. It's a good addition for the community. They have, I believe, 32 teams throughout the state of Florida.
Really? That big? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe they're in the latest rankings. I believe they were the 2nd or 3rd ranked travel organization in the country. And you know, Bob Reichman over there has a huge motivation to make the game cheaper. You know, he's done very well for himself. He is not financially driven. He wants to do right by the game, and he's an old school guy. So we're excited to be partnering with them, and they'll be at our at the Samson Corbeil event October 6th through the 8th, and then they will also be at the Bing Tyus Classic.
That's fantastic stuff.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, the world of baseball.
It's different.
Oh gosh, you know, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. You know, there's always been the baseball geeks that, you know, track every pitch and, you know, all of this type of stuff, but then they do it for fun. Now it's a business.
Yeah,
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is some great stuff. So, you know, we've got that. The one that I failed to in that event, the Scorpions Florida Scout Ball, is this weekend at the Chain of Lakes, and then the Corbeil, there we go, Classic is the 5th and the 6th at Lake Myrtle the following weekend. So
Correct.
That's a big one. Yeah, and those 9 fields at Lake Myrtle are in good shape.
They look great right now.
We need some more.
Yeah,
we need some more.
That's probably going to happen. So,
I hope so.
Yeah,
we'll bring teams here. I'm begging.
We're working on it. No problem at all. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks
really
for having
appreciate it. We got to get deeper into this thing and get him to explain a little bit more.
Well,
of this stuff.
with all these organizations that he's overseeing, we'd have a couple of 2 or 3 shows at least. Sure, but, you know,
I'm happy to come
that
back.
would
Just
definitely have
him.
you back.
I'm
Definitely
happy to
have you
come
back.
back.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate what you do for Polk County, and you're a great partner of the area as well. So thank you.
Thank
so
you
much
guys.
for coming.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, everybody, up close and personal. I always love these things. You know, it's just like the old, Olympic days and all this type of stuff. You know, up close and personal. So anyway, but there is a young lady who is a basketball player from Vienna, Austria, if you will. And Vienna's a cool place, by the way. And her name is Anja Fuchs-Robetin. Did I get that right? I have to look at our director. Robetin? I'm just getting this. Anyway, we've got a special spotlight on her. She's a heck of a ball player, heck of a person. Enjoy it, everybody. Alan, Mark. We'll be back with segment number 4 right after this.
I started basketball when I was 6 years old, so I've been playing for a long time. Well, my parents actually played basketball, but they weren't the ones that got me into playing basketball. Both of them actually also played for like the Austrian national team, so you know, they were pretty good. But my neighbor, who was 3 years older, she started playing basketball, and one day she just asked me to come to practice with her, and I immediately started liking it and kept playing ever since. So I'm from Vienna, Austria, and I always wanted to play basketball at a college in the U.S. I looked at a couple schools up north, even a couple schools in this conference, but this just seemed like a perfect fit. You know, I'm from the cold side. I appreciate being in the warmth, and I like Florida. And it's just like it's a smaller school, and that's kind of what I was looking for. And, you know, academics are good here. I just started emailing schools, and coach started talking to me and recruited me, and she wanted me to come here, and I liked the school. I like Florida, so that's just how it happened. Basketball has like brought me to a lot of different places, and you know, whenever it gets tough, I'm just like taking a step back and thinking, you know, all this is happening because of basketball, and I really love the game. So my teammates have always been like super helpful, and in the beginning, like my English wasn't that good, so they helped me out with, you know, how to find my classes, where the teachers are at, like all that stuff, like little things. And then for Christmas, a lot of my teammates offered me that I could go home with them, so I've just, you know, they've been very open, and I really appreciate that. Definitely the biggest accomplishment was my freshman year when we made it to the Elite 8 tournament. There was just nobody expected us to be good that year. We were picked 7th in conference, and we surprised everybody, so that was just a great moment with the team. I feel like there's just a lot of different facets to the game. Like, you have to be smart, you have to be fast. You know, it helps being tall. There's a lot of elements in basketball, and it's just always changing. It's never the same thing. Like, no game is gonna be like another game. I feel like a lot of it comes with experience, like just, you know, knowing what to expect, having played on this stage and in front of the crowd against some of the teams. That definitely helps to prepare for games. And just knowing it's going to be hard out there, and people are going to push you around, and, you know, being ready for that. The way basketball is organized in Austria, you don't like play in high school or college, but you play in clubs. So basically, I've always been playing against like older people too. And I would say the game is a lot more about like tactics and shooting, whereas here the game is like more physical. Well, apart from like the whole physical aspect, I think you really have to be smart, you know, and you have to want to play in a team. Like you have the type of personality for a team sport, wanting to work with teammates and just trying to achieve the best in a group. Steve Nash is probably my favorite basketball player. He's a great point guard, you know, always playing with his teammates, giving good passes. So that's my favorite. My parents are definitely proud of me, and you know, it's like a big step to come to the US and play basketball here, so you know, they're happy that I took the opportunity and I'm making the best out of it. I want to keep playing basketball, so I'll probably go and play somewhere in Europe, because in the US you don't really have that many opportunities after college to keep playing.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Mark Jackson along with Al Snow. If you're just joining us, and 3 great guests. Sound like Elmer Fudd. 3 great guests. That's a hard one to say.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, especially with that last guest, Kevin, it just the technology these days that just can minutely find like maybe a gem in the rough.
Yeah.
For Major League Baseball, just based on what he's doing. It's amazing.
Well, you know, it was interesting. You know, the comment that I picked up on. We're talking about Kevin Davidson from DS Holdings, and you know, of course, they own Rustmat Baseball and like 14 other organizations. Baseball related. But he said that this baseball cloud, the software, evens the playing field, because then colleges, you know, or you know, whatever it may be, even the pros, you know, can have access to that data without going to all these events. Although that's what we want. And by the way, this segment being brought to us by Harry's Old Place, and wow, that's Harry and Bruce don't own it anymore, but the food, the quality has continued, and they've upgraded a few things too.
It's one of those places in and around Polk County that it's hidden gem again.
Yes.
But it's one of the places that you go back to time and time again because everything is so great. The food, the atmosphere, just
right on Lake Ned.
Absolutely.
Just down from Legoland. So make sure you check it out, everybody. Anyway, Al, we've got so much going on. In fact, the Florida Runners Club Invitation, which is the largest cross-country meet in the state of Florida, is happening right now as we speak, which is Friday afternoon at about 12:50.
Yeah, they're getting ready to kick things off at Holloway Park this afternoon, and it's an amazing event. And again, people from all over the state coming down for just one fantastic cross-country course. Everybody raves about Holloway Park. So
yeah, it is a great park, and it's right there in Lakeland, right off the Parkway. One of the interesting things, the guy that owns that company, Florida Runners, flrunners.com, Invitational, used to work with us, started his career with Polk County Sports Marketing.
So, the staff, I mean, has throughout the history of Polk County Sports Marketing, I mean, the staff has always moved from, whether it's been an intern or, you know, a staff member, and moved their way up, and a lot of people have left and been able to put together some fantastic events like this. So.
Yeah, real talented kid, and his system that's worked out real well. But when, you know, I say it's the largest cross-country run, or competitive run in the state of Florida, 4,800 athletes.
Yeah, and everything from elementary school all the way up to college. So, I mean, it's not just high school kids, not just the college kids.
Great point,
you know, again, a great family event that there will be families packing Lakeland this weekend with, you know, that'll be in town for this event. So.
Well, coming up real soon, too, is the Central Florida Throwdown, which is a CrossFit event. And, you know, we had the organizer of that particular tournament, you know, on the show a couple of weeks ago. And, wow, what a fitness competition that is. You know, and you think of all the CrossFit stuff, they actually compete in CrossFit, believe it or not. So
it's another, I mean, there's a lot of different types of competitions coming about, and I think this is, I mean, the CrossFit Games and CrossFit competition, I mean, you're going to have 100, I mean, more than, 100 different teams competing for the CrossFit Games here.
Yeah.
It's just a new wrinkle on a sport. I mean, you know, there used to be just bodybuilding and that was it. Now it's, you know, the full athleticism of, you know, not only just being able to lift, but be able to, you know, flip tires or whatever it may be. So it's just another different wrinkle, and it's something that, you know, Polk County is a great home for.
Well, and they have teams coming from all over the world. Mm-hmm. China, I mean, all over Europe. I mean, it's just phenomenal. When she started going through that, so I'm going, you know, I knew it was big. I just didn't realize the international component of it. And you know, you find out real quick, you know, that, you know, yeah, America is our country and all of that type of stuff, but there's some real talent outside of our borders. And you know, when you compete internationally and you go travel internationally, you find out, you know, that hey, this is something. You know, there's so many sports that have started. You know, basketball, for example, started right here in the United States. You know, but now it's a global sport. Right. So it's all good stuff. Anyway, man, I'm doing that. I'm just like shuffling papers here. But anyway, we do have some sponsors, Al, to thank, and.
Well, lot of our sponsors that really help us out throughout the year. Some people like Echo Suites, great place for a lot of those Russ Matt teams. Hampton Inn Lakeside, the Trophy Shop, Hall Communications from our radio show, and Harborside. It's a favorite place of ours that has some great food. And
Dave and Dawn are great hosts, and the food is phenomenal. I mean, I go there and eat that endless salad bar thing. You know, it's not a salad bar, but it's the endless Harborside salad. You know, just walk out of there just kind of waddling, you know, especially if you eat the bread and all that stuff. But it's a great time. Well, Al mentioned earlier, our sister show on WLKF 1430, 96.7 FM is airs on Thursdays from 5 to 6 o'clock. So make sure you check that out, everyone. It's a great show with some great guests. Appreciate you coming. Appreciate you watching. This is Mark Jackson for Al Snow. We'll see you again October 12th.